random comment. One time I was on a date, and because I'm in finance, I was like, "So what's your credit score?"
Uh-oh. So you asked first date?
I straight up asked first date question. Oh, it was like a month. It was a month in.
Oh, okay.
So we
Okay.
were
That's
dating. We were exclusive at that point. But I just felt like, you know what, I want someone who's
I respect that.
Yeah, I want someone responsible. And so to me, it's a reflection of your financial decisions over the past 7 years of your life, right?
I agree.
Hi guys, my name is Tina Hong.
I'm Anna Ostrowski.
And we are excited here today to have Adrian Vega join us. He is a credit repair consultant, and this question has actually come up for us in a lot of our when we asked a lot of our audience, like, what are questions that would be beneficial to someone's future? And credit repair was one of the top ones.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be good to invite you on because you're the expert.
No
here.
pressure or anything.
But Adrian,
no worries.
What about you?
Well, I've been in the credit repair industry. First off, thank you so much for reaching out to me in regards to this. And yes, Adrian Vega with MSI Credit Solutions. I've been in the industry for the past 4.5 years, and I've learned a lot. More than what the average person would learn about credit in their lifetime, right? And I guess I've almost found it as a calling to where, hey, you know what, all this info regarding credit, let's share it to the world. Let's share it to the people that, you know, whether they're friends with me on Facebook or follow me on Instagram or Twitter, wherever, right? Hey, look, just dish out some knowledge, you know, here and there. But as far as just the basics, I grew up in Garland, Texas. I mean,
I'm a local too.
Yeah, local too. So I live in Richardson, Texas right now, so not too far off. And the office is right here in Dallas, so everything's nearby. So nothing too extravagant. But yeah, that's where I was. That's my hometown, Garland, Texas.
I love it. So I'm curious because I have a lot of financial planning clients that are like, hey, I heard that you're supposed to do this with your credit. What are the common misconceptions that you come across?
Yeah.
Very common misconception. I think the biggest one, there's two big ones. One is that we only have one credit score. That's not true, right? We have three, but people don't know this. People haven't heard that, or maybe they think that the two that they see on Credit Karma are, you know, the only scores that they have. Not true either. So most people are not informed that we all have three scores. All right, so that's one huge misconception. Two is, with my line of work, I'm obviously dealing with people that are, you know, having collections, right? And so, you know, a debt goes to collection, and the common misconception is, oh, I should pay that collection off and it'll go away. 99% of the people think that, right? Thinking it's going to go away, but what happens is it just stays on there as a zero balance. So those two right there, those are two very big common topics that we come across, misconceptions, I mean, that we need to clear up with the client right then and there.
Yeah. And even if they settle it, so on my side, even if they settle it and they negotiate a lower number, they're going to get a tax consequence for that because it's almost like that company paid it for them. Is that right?
Yeah. Almost like you know, additional income, you know.
Yeah, it's like
but yeah, they get taxed. Yeah, because they didn't have to pay it, but it was still a debt. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So y'all are both like finance people. And Tina helps me out. She's my advisor. But let's go like super elementary for a second.
That's good.
Okay.
If you were talking to someone about credit, the do's and don'ts, and this was their first time hearing about it,
like in your 20s?
Super basic. Yeah,
like in college?
20s, 30s, probably 20s more.
Okay.
What would you say? Like, explain that for me.
Heck, let's take it down to 18 years old.
I should have prepped you. I'm sorry.
All right. So, real simple is you just have to know that you're going to have to be responsible, and credit cards are not free money. Right. Okay. But that's the biggest thing. Hey, these credit cards that you end up getting, it's not free money. You do have to pay it back, but utilizing them correctly right now will help you immensely for the future, right? Even if it's a small little, okay, let's just start off at square one. Go to the bank, ask for a secured credit card, or apply for a secured credit card, pay whatever deposit they ask, and start your credit with that. Plain and simple. Don't go off and get
But you can have different approaches, right? So for me, I bought my first car and then paid for like my cell phone myself. So I actually never did that approach. So multiple approaches still accomplish the same goal
Yes, they accomplish the same goal,
of building
but
credit.
a little bit of different results. All right, nothing wrong with going off and getting your first car, right? If you have a co-signer that has great credit and they co-sign with you, you get a great interest rate, you benefit off of that. Really, the only way you'll not benefit is you're adding in debt immediately to your credit to start off with, right? A credit card, you put $200 down on it, you spend $50 a month on it, pay it off. You're not putting yourself in debt. You're not what's it called? You're just not putting your, oh my God, sorry about that. You're just not putting yourself in a position, right, in the hole, right then and there. So and you can just pay off the credit card right then and there too. So but yeah, loans do help.
So truth be told, I did actually have the full amount of money before I bought the car. So I made one payment of $100, second payment $100, and then the rest was like $7,000 because I didn't trust myself to hang on to the money. So truth be told, I paid off that in 3 months. But it was a car that was like not being sold anymore. So I wasn't, but I was also 20 something years old. So it was like, okay to have like that type of car.
For sure.
I will say this too, for parents out there, right? Their kids about to turn 18, 19, right? For parents out there that have well-established credit cards, right? Have, add your kid as an authorized user. Don't let your kid handle the card in any way, shape, or form. Just add them on, right? They'll benefit off, your payments, your good history, your good payments and everything. They'll benefit off of that for sure.
So, a couple more basic questions over here.
Good.
How many credit cards should someone have? And when should they pay it off? Like, say for example, like I'll give you an example right now with me. I have a credit card through American Airlines because I travel all the time. So I have their rewards credit card. And right now I have some money on it. I don't need to make a payment. Like, because I usually pay it right away. I don't need to make a payment for like a while. But because it's sitting in there, I feel like it's good for me to pay it off because I have the ability to pay it off. Should I be doing that? Should I not be doing that? Are you supposed to wait a certain time? So how many credit cards and best method of paying it off?
How many credit cards and best method of paying it off? So I would say
if you have the capacity.
If you have the capacity
to pay it off, meaning you have X in your emergency fund.
Got it. Okay. Capacity, you're responsible, you're on point, you're not spending it, I guess in a bad fashion. I would say 3 credit cards is pretty safe to have. 2 bank ones, maybe 1 retail one, if not 3 bank ones, right? We can avoid retail ones, but I know there are benefits of having retail credit cards, the no interest, for example, Best Buy, no interest on major purchases for certain months, things you can take advantage of that can benefit you if you want to make a purchase through a certain store, right? But I would say 3 credit cards. You always see books and hear people say you want to have 3 revolving accounts credit cards and 1 loan, 1 installment loan type of deal. But also the second biggest category that affects your credit is amount of debt owed. That's 30% of your score, right? The less debt you have against you, the higher the scores are going to be. All right. So you paying it off is actually
like that advice.
So yeah. I mean, that's the second biggest category, right? So it's that debt you're carrying on those credit cards is affecting you one way or the other. If that debt was lower, scores would be higher, plain and simple. So if your debt's $3,000 and you have the capacity to pay off the $3,000, pay it off. Maybe leave a $10 or $20 balance, but at least that looks better than $3,000 against you.
Right. Yeah. And if you pay each month, you've been borrowing that for free. Is that how that works?
Say that one more time.
So when you pay off the full balance in whole, you can still have a great credit score. So I've never paid interest on a credit card the entire time, and I have over 800, right? So you can still establish credit with length of time on those credit cards, right? Because when she was asking how many credit cards, it's also length of time, right? Yeah. Is that right?
Length of time is important too. 3rd biggest category of your credit report. All right. So, and a common mistake I see people make, I know this is a whole nother subject, is people will close out their credit cards, right? They'll rack up that balance
That
And
was
then
gonna be
they'll
my
take,
next question.
Yeah.
yeah, they'll take years, some months or years, and all this time and paying a lot of interest, right? Paying down these credit cards down to zero, and they're like, oh, finally, okay, I don't want to ever go through this again. I'm going to close it out. Well, you just threw away all that hard work you just put in, because all that credit history actually was helping you. So that's another common mistake people make.
That's so
Again,
important.
though, it's all about discipline too. All right. Because yeah, they take years paying it down. They could rack it up the next day in one day.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure you've seen that happen.
yeah. I'm sure y'all have seen that happen.
Oh, hundreds. So a big thing, and when we've kind of thought about doing these interviews with people, was really like mindset. Like, how do you get through those tough times? And I'm sure maybe you've called on a bunch of people and they turn you down, or they're rude to you. Like, how do you get or stay positive?
Me personally, or for the client?
Yeah, no, you personally.
Me personally, I would say I do count my fortunes a whole lot more than what I used to before. What I mean by that is the little things that are bad that happen in life, right? Because things are going to occur. Some you can't just brush off. And the ones that you really can't just brush off, hey, look, let's handle that right now. Let's get it out of the way. Let's push through the storm, because if not, it's just going to be a bigger issue, right? So I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean, I'm not always a positive person, but I know that when I'm at work, when I'm in front of people, when I'm with someone, when I'm doing interviews like this, whatever negativity there is, and that can't portray. So the positivity just has to outweigh the negativity at the end of the day, right? No matter what you're pushing through. And huge shout out to one of my managers here. I mean, he's going through a lot of tough times with his family. I mean, we're talking about multiple deaths in the family. We're talking about just really hard stuff. But he comes to work. He's on point. He comes and motivates us. He's the manager here, right? So he has to be on point all day, every day. And he's a really good friend of mine. So he's a really good example to follow. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to have that, to be able to see that for myself. So when I hear of things happening to others, I'm like, golly, like right now, like it's not that bad, right? I don't have it that bad. Fortunately, right? So knock on wood.
So it kind of sounds like maybe his positive or ambitiousness kind of rubs off on you, or his strength to get through it bleeds to you. And for him, it maybe seems like, hey, I've got to do this for my team, my family, that keeps him going. Is that right?
Yeah. And I think that's another thing that's helped me too, because I try to pick certain things from people here at the, it's a big open sales floor here at the office. It's like 30 of us on the floor, and we have the owner Ricardo right behind us and everything. Like, he's right there with us. Yeah. So shout out Ricardo Mendiola. So I just try to feed off the energy, try to feed off the positivity, off the vibes. And luckily I'm in a place where there's nothing but, so it's a good deal. Then again, also too, these calls that we're on all day, every day, it's a grind, and we're having tough conversations. Y'all have tough conversations. You're talking to, millionaires, right? With their finances, doing this, doing that. Very complicated conversations too. They go through their own tough times as well. And I'm sure y'all hear about it too.
I'm sure you feel just as much of a counselor as I do, right? Sometimes.
I make a joke sometimes to the client. Like, your guide, your consultant, part-time psychiatrist. I'm there. Yeah.
But ultimately, I really love that people share so much. I really feel like genuinely their friend, and I feel so thankful that their willingness to share with me that.
I have a couple things.
Yes,
okay,
please.
Cool. So one, I think a big message to take away from the last thing that you said is that your attitude is contagious. And so when you show up to work in a negative mood, or you show up to work and you let everything that's going on personally or in your mind seep out, it definitely affects other people. So I think you're very lucky to have a workspace where everyone recognizes that and they show up positively. So I think that's fantastic. Talk to me about your day-to-day though.
Yeah.
So what does your day-to-day look like? I hear it sounds intense. I want to know more.
And he's one of their top guys, if not the top guy, month after month. Like, how do you keep the top going up? You know, like, what are your habits?
By staring at the last place, the 2018 last place trophy all day. No, I'm kidding. It is on my desk there. Yeah, 2018 last place. Ricardo, the owner, he gives the last place trophy out at the end of the year to whoever is like the least improved. 2018 was not my year.
You're like, okay, another call.
The one for last year had a toilet bowl on it. Yeah, so.
That's hilarious. So do you think? Go ahead.
Oh,
so
no,
what do you do daily? I think is what.
I want to know day to day.
Day to day. So right now I'm not having to come into the office till 11, so I'm taking advantage of that and doing my soccer training in the morning. So Tina, she has me on social media, so she'll see that I do goalie training and stuff. So that's my personal passion, soccer. Good. Yes, you know. So I'm boring.
So you have a personal life.
That's the only thing that I like apart from work. So, so I'll do that in the mornings. I'll go and my other goalie friend will go and, you know, do our drills, do our setups, do everything. I'll record as much as I can. You know, get back home, get ready for the day, you know, get my emails out of the way, get to the office. And once I get to the office, then, you know, we start our meeting that we do every day at 11. And then after that, it's just grind. You know, it's just on calls all day, every day. Obviously the different conversations, you know, you hear from people. So yeah, it's just logged onto the computer and again, on my social media, you'll see me just, you know, talking to people on the phone. You'll see me, I'll upload a video here and there, posting some kind of credit tip, whatever I can to just put myself out there, right? Even if it's just me talking on the phone, just a video of me talking on the phone, literally. You know, I'll do whatever I can to just put myself out there while I'm on the phone, while I'm helping out whoever. I'm usually gone from the office around 7:30-ish, latest maybe 9. Super busy months, I'll be there till 10 or 11, taking advantage of the busy time. But it's fun. I like it. It's fun. Get home, chill with my dog, and start again the next day. Yeah.
I love it. Do you mind walking me through a call? I guess I should need to add you on social and look at some of this stuff, because what does a typical call look like?
Yeah, like if someone were to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Real quick, you know, hey, you know, Tina, it looks like you referred over to me to help you with your credit situation. Is it just you needing help? Is it someone else? Are you married? Okay, what's the overall goal? Obviously, we all want to have great credit. What's the goal? You want to buy a house?
Love it.
You want to get qualified for a job? You're trying to refinance what you have already? You want to start a business? Right? Everyone wants to have great credit. That's a given. But why are we trying to fix this now? Why? Right? You know, that's the biggest motivator. You know, we'll go over, hey, look, well, this is how we work collections, late payments, you know, we'll pull up a credit report for you. We'll provide you a quote. So super simple, super basic, but I really genuinely want to get to know them. I want to see if I could help them, because if I can't, I'll be the first to tell them. But if we can, we'll obviously go over how and go over all the details. I want to make sure everything is crystal clear, because again, they don't teach us this in high school. They don't, you know, talk about credit every single day of their lives like we do.
They should.
Yeah. Like Tina, you know, all the things that you were covering with me, help, the insurance, the investments, the everything. I'm like,
why don't we learn this?
Yeah.
Or just a simple budget, I think, would be like you know how they kind of like take care of a baby, like a flower baby and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Like, right?
You know,
but I don't think you wanted me how to make a budget.
I know.
Buying a house. All the steps it takes to buy a house.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So it sounds like, which I tell a lot of my clients, that credit is like really tied to a lot of things in your life. Would you say that's the same? Like even down to your car insurance that you purchase, your future home, your credit cards, all the rates that you get on that, right?
Renting an apartment, you know, renting a nice apartment in a good area. I mean, I'm glad I came into this at 24 years old, because at 23, 22, 21, I didn't care about credit. I'm not going to lie.
Wow.
You know, and that's most people I speak to, you know, some people are 30, 40, 50 years old, just now getting on track, you know, so I'm glad I learned all these things early before I had the chance to mess it up. right? So I'm
Yeah.
glad I learned early, you know, and that way I took initiative and I'm like, oh, wait, I got to do this. I have to do that, you know? So, and now that's what I'm portraying to others.
Good.
So random comment. One time I was on a date, and because I'm in finance, I was like, "So what's your credit score?"
Uh-oh. So you asked first
I
date?
straight up asked
First date question.
Oh, it was like a month. It was a month in.
Oh, okay.
So we were
That's
dating. We were exclusive at that point. But I just felt like, you know what? I want someone who's
I respect that.
Yeah, I want someone responsible. And so to me, it's a reflection of your financial decisions over the past 7 years of your life, right?
I agree.
And he was so offended. And I was just
Okay,
like,
then not your man.
yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Is that a taboo question if you were with someone? I mean, because you work in the field, so it's maybe common
I
for
love
you.
that you're asking this right now.
Because I think it's like a pain point that you want to know what you're walking into. Or for me, but that's because I like to know.
Is that a taboo?
Would you be offended?
Me personally, just because of what I do, no.
No, okay. Would
But
you
I
ask
do-
your
I do-
future girlfriend
I
or
don't.
wife?
I don't ask anyone. So, well, apart outside of work, I've gotten comfortable. Like, hey, by the way, what's your score, man? Like, you know, just I mean, is it low? If it is, I mean, I see it every day. So I'll ease into it, but I will say it's not a common topic. It really isn't, unless they ask me.
You wouldn't get offended.
I think, honestly, if it was after a month of dating, yes. No, I'm kidding. But
Should we make it a common topic?
We didn't make work out. Let's just say that.
Should we make it a common topic?
Yeah.
I think we should.
I think we should.
We're talking right now about the importance of it, right? And how many different parts of your life it affects,
really
and how.
good.
Well,
I mean, it's a good topic to have. So
and the reason I say that is because the number one reason why relationships don't work out is actually
finances.
Mic drop. I don't know. So sometimes people say like owning a home is kind of like a necessary evil, I guess, right?
Yeah.
The positive debt is as good as debt as it can be.
Yeah.
So-
I'm curious.
Good example here. My buddy, he's actually 25 years old, just bought his house, and he works here. He works here with us, so he's talking about credit all day, every day.
Yeah.
Kenneth Smith Jr. Congrats to him. Well, Tina, you know him. So he texted me randomly last week. He's like, bro, house debt doesn't even affect your credit at all. Like, my scores actually went up after the house, you know, was put on his credit.
So mine didn't get over 800 until I bought my first house.
Interesting.
So see, you would expect for the scores to take a dip, you know, even if it's a little bit because of all that debt added in. Right now, you add in a vehicle debt. I usually see people take hits on that, not only because of the credit check, but then also once the debt actually hits. So I see student loan debt not weigh as much.
Okay.
So I guess it's good. Yeah.
Necessity to,
Yeah.
right?
So I guess in a way
Unless
the
you're
credit bureaus
delinquent on it.
are. Well, that if you are, then yeah, it's going to jack up your score. Well, jack down your scores. So yeah, don't be late on it either, or collections,
Right.
which we see all the time too.
Okay.
So what are like three? Yeah, exactly.
Autopay.
So she puts a great point. Well, I always tell my clients, hey, what are some great strategies to keep their credit at least in line? And she did a great one. Auto pay at least the minimum payment, or auto pay whatever you can pay to make sure at least it's on time.
Yeah.
Right?
What are strategies?
What are some other great things that are gonna just keep them in check if they didn't know any better?
If they didn't know any better, I guess we have to. It just depends. Auto pay is a very obvious one.
Okay.
Paying down to as close to zero as possible.
Good.
Because I mean, I would say 95% of consumers are just doing a minimum payment. You know, and nothing more. I would, you know, I
So
would
don't buy more than you can chew,
realistically,
or don't bite off more than you can chew. Is that what you're getting at financially?
The thing I see too is they can pay it off and they don't.
Oh,
That's another thing. Yeah, so it's just maybe because they're not as educated on it too. So
Well, that's the thing, because I think that's a misconception, because I right now have enough to pay, off my credit card, but I'm like, isn't there some sort of thing where if I leave it in there a little bit longer, that, like, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about it. So that's why I'm really glad that we're having this conversation. But if someone is watching this and they're like, how do I find out my score? What if my score is really bad? What do I do? Where do I start to figure out my credit? Now that I'm realizing how important it is, where do I start?
Google and YouTube. No.
Yeah.
The
You
obvious,
mentioned
the obvious
Credit
answer,
Karma.
the obvious answer I would give is reach out to a credit repair specialist, right? But let's pretend credit repair doesn't exist. Let's pretend this industry, this business service doesn't exist.
I
Okay.
appreciate that.
So where do we go from step one? Okay. Well, then it's gonna really. Well, now I realize why we exist because it is complicated.
Thank you for serving this country.
Yes. I
So
did Credit Karma.
Yeah, I
you
did
want-
Credit Karma too, actually.
Yeah,
But my credit card also gave me a free score too.
yeah, but
Like
then
when I log
remember,
into Discover.
it's not gonna
three.
give all three. That's the other thing, you know. So
Oh yeah, but at least you kind of know like a roundabout where we're starting at. So where should I call a credit repair person or am I in decent, you know?
but well, again, let's pretend credit repair doesn't even exist, right? So where do we go from there? All right. So ideally, we want to go and look through every single account, right? Okay, this collection, are they reporting it accurately? Did they report it on the correct date? Is it the correct amount? Are they following all the laws that you can Google about, right? You know, theoretically, because again, credit repair doesn't exist. That you can Google about, are they following all the laws, right? Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, like go on and on. Are they following that to the T? And if they're not, then you could simply write a dispute to the credit bureaus and let them know, hey, this isn't being followed all the way, right? You can call these collections and see if they are willing to delete the account if you pay it, all right? That would be the only, and if they offer you the pay for delete letter, which is very hard to get, extremely difficult to get, very rare to even get that letter from the collectors. But if you do, that's your golden ticket to, hey, pay it, and it's going to get removed for sure. And if not, then you can dispute it. And if not,
funny. I mean, that's funny they say this. So when I was buying my first house, I had a 750 plus credit score, and my mortgage person had looked on my credit. She's like, hey, did you know you missed one payment? I was like, no, I did not. That was on auto pay. My lease was on auto pay for 39 months. And somewhere the bank like did a glitch on the 36th payment. And I was like, so I didn't know until I got my credit pulled that I had missed one and then I wouldn't have known because it was still a great score, right?
Right.
So I actually called for Cardo. That's how we got connected. And I'm like, hey, how do I fix this? And so he walked me through a lot of this that you're talking about, that letter. I mean, I literally like, interesting. Vice President, please, I did say it nicely, you have to hound them, right? Interesting. But honestly, so I reached out to Ricardo. That's MSI was a lot of help.
Yeah. You know, so again, before coming to this industry, I had no idea we even had 3 credit scores. I had no idea we could dispute and challenge these accounts. I had no idea that we are protected. Yeah, I had no idea we're protected by laws from these companies reporting whatever they want, right? You know, and again, most people don't know.
Yeah. So this is what I heard today, and chime in. I heard that staying disciplined with your credit and all of your payments and things like that was super important. And you said when you're thinking of negative times, you got to get through the storm. And a way you do that, surrounding yourself with positive people, as their energy is contagious, and you help. I mean, you're contagious even virtually. Like I know. Watch you. Yeah, I watch you.
You make me happy.
You make me super positive when I see you virtually as well. And then it sounds like you kind of start your day for something for yourself, right? Like whether it's fitness or soccer, which is kind of like both. It's something that you truly enjoy for yourself. And then you go out and conquer the days because you started the day with something for yourself. Is that right?
Yeah, and I never even looked at it that way. I start the day off with something for myself because I'm not gonna lie. Look, when I get out of here, I don't want to. First off, I can't go to any soccer field. It's dark. Second off, I'm too tired for anything anyways.
So you're exhausted.
Yeah.
So yeah. So you just pointed that out, right? You know, you just brought that up for myself. Yeah. And I think it really does help because when I don't, right, when I just go straight to work, you know, it definitely is a different vibe. It really is.
Yeah.
But yeah. But still, I enjoy it here either way.
And I would add on to the list of takeaways just to educate yourself. I mean, holy cow. I think there's a lot that we don't know in this area. So whether it be reaching out to you or, looking different things up. So with that, where can, if someone wants to talk to you or wants more information about this or needs to have that conversation, how do we get a hold of you? What's that process like?
Yeah.
The most obvious way would be plugging in your information at msicredit.com. So that is the company that I work with, MSI Credit. And the most obvious way would be, hey, put in the notes that you want to speak to Adrian, right? To myself.
Beautiful.
That would be the most obvious way. But as far as I'm on social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok,
What are those
Snapchat.
handles? So how can they find you? Is it Adrian Vega on the side?
If you type in Adrian Vega, I put it to where if you type in Adrian Vega, you should be finding me for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
Hopefully
then
top 5.
TikToking as well.
You started TikToking?
So okay, not like the dances and everything.
That got
type of
real
TikTok.
serious.
That's a whole
About it.
different. So you said
So-
put yourself out there, and so TikTok is one of those new places, right? That you're putting yourself.
Yes,
Is it
and
different?
so this was the beginning of quarantine, and I was like, you know what? Let me upload all the credit videos that I've uploaded already. Let me just add them to TikTok, add in like a little caption, and just plug them in there, right?
See what happens.
Hashtag credit. And so that was the end of March, and I don't know what happened, but I started getting hundreds of thousands of views on these videos on TikTok, and leads were coming in like crazy.
Wow.
And yeah. So starting in April, I would say about a fourth of the people I signed up came from TikTok, and it's been consistent ever since.
Putting yourself out there really paid off, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's that. The whole 2018 sucked, but literally
Shoot that under the-
December 31st of 2018, because I was like, yeah, there's no way. I uploaded my first video talking about credit, and then I just did it consistently after that, and it's blown me up as far as social media
And
goes.
I think
So
that's great.
yeah,
No, I think that's
So,
wonderful. And it also goes to show that there's a lot of people out there who don't understand it. So if anyone's watching this and you're like, I feel like an idiot, or me, where I'm like, there's some of this stuff I don't know. Don't feel that way. Reach out to someone, because there's a lot of people who are in that boat that need some help. So
yeah, and don't wait for it to be like a bad situation to
Oh,
educate
yeah.
yourself,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
yeah.
But it was so nice to meet you. I've learned
Likewise.
so much in this little time, and I appreciate it. I'm going to go start following you on everything, and I'm going to go check out the TikTok videos. No, I appreciate the information, education, positivity, and strategies. You are a rock star. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming in.